Welcome back to another episode of IBJJF Q&A. I'm your host, John Medina, and my guest today is three-time world champion and three-time European champion, Braulio Estima. Professor, how are you doing today?
How you doing, John? I'm so happy to be here. I feel like very honored to be invited to for those Q&A for the IBJJF. I've seen I've seen the one that Shandy did was really good, and it feels very honored to me to be here. I was pumped today. I've been doing the takeover, the Instagram takeover of my team, the Grace Bar Online. So it's been hectic. I've been showing off. So I was looking forward to 7 p.m. UK time. I'll do a little pause of the renovation we're doing here today, and I was really looking forward to talk to you.
Great. Good to hear. So let's get started then.
Let's go.
All right. You're someone who's always been ahead of the curve when it comes to the way you train jiu-jitsu. You've often said that a good training session is the one where you felt like you've learned something. So, what sort of ways do you implement to train smarter and not harder? Specifically, how important is it for you to train in situational sparring and learning the mechanics rather than neutral every round? Do you feel constantly getting put in bad positions and learning how to get out of them helps build a stronger fighter?
Yeah, John, it's a very good question, and it's a very ample answer as well. I like to say, the secret to be good in something, it doesn't matter what it is, because jiu-jitsu it was my journey, right? That's where I had all my goals and all my learning for life. And as we spoke before we start, jiu-jitsu is an amazing metaphor for life. The philosophy of jiu-jitsu is a very good philosophy for life or any ethical work. If you're good and successful in anything, if you see all the champions, they have similar qualities of the best businessmen in the world, and the best fathers in the world, the best husband in the world. The philosophy links the same. But one thing that I've always noticed, and I realized that made me to understand more jiu-jitsu, to improve my game, to think a little bit outside the curve, was to understand myself and accept myself with it. Because that's the first thing you gotta do. Because in jiu-jitsu, it's like when you're fighting someone, it's like an argument, right? And we have to manipulate someone else. You need to do something against someone else. But that someone else wants to do something against you too, right? So I cannot only be thinking about the other person, and also I can only be thinking about what I need to do only to myself. But before I do manipulate anybody else, I have to understand how to manipulate myself. So to be able to manipulate myself, I need to understand my limitations and accept your limitations and work around it. Either try to improve on the right time or try to avoid to be in the situation that you don't like to be or it doesn't suit you again. With that said, it shows a very important characteristics and a very important factor that make a big difference on the success, which is don't compare yourself to no one. Once you compare yourself to someone else, you're going to be completely taking focus on what really matters, which is become a better version of yourself every time. So if you go to the academy with the intention of, I want to beat that guy, I cannot lose to that guy. That guy beats me all the time, I want to beat him. The want is one thing, but to be able to achieve that, you have to train smart, as you said. To train smart is to become a better version of yourself. Because if you reach your full potential, you reach as good as you could ever be anyway. So if that full potential means you become the best in the world or not, you did the better as you could be. So you won't regret. And of course, when you train smart, I don't only put myself in only bad situations. I don't only do specific training of my bad situations or only my good situation. I don't train just one specific way. I don't only go to the training to head to head against someone. It's all about finding the balance, right? Because it's everything in life. My dad always told me, it's all about the balance. Because if you have holidays all the time, the holiday doesn't become holiday anymore, become a normal.
Yeah.
Right? We got to understand the contrast So when you understand the contrast of what is good, what's bad, and work around it and find the middle balance, which everyone in the world, me, you, Roger, Felipe Pena, my brother, we are all different. So my balance, I'm not talking about balance as in being standard somewhere. It's a balance as in what's good and bad for you, right? It's different. So I need to discover my own balance. But to be able to know my own balance, I need to understand myself. In my long, if I'm a lot of people, oh, brother, you're so good in triangles, you know, like you get triangle from everywhere. It's because you have long legs. Look, it's not about the length of the legs, because if someone had a 1 mile leg, right? It, imagine someone a mile leg. Imagine the amount of hole that is between the legs when you close the triangle. So it's not about the size. It's about where you press it, where you place it, how you adjust. But you can only adjust knowing who you are and how you move and how you position yourself in the angles. Then you learn how to get the traps. Now, the big factor for my understanding of jiu-jitsu, John, when I was a world champion on the very first year as a black belt, right? I didn't feel like a black belt until 3 years down the line. I already been twice world champion and once vice champion in the world. Okay, every year I was in the finals, and I still didn't feel as a black belt, you know, because I had so much to learn. You know, it's a never-ending learning curve. Today, every year, I learn something completely. Oh my God, why I didn't see this before? Why I couldn't? But the thing is, the reason I saw it today was because before I did everything else that I did that led to what it is today. So it's very much down to the reverse engineering, the way that I like to improve things, because everything is about. We tend to think about the final destination. See, in life too, you know, happiness is not a destination; is in the journey, right? So the same thing, you know, in jiu-jitsu, we sometimes want to pass the guy's guard, we want to sweep, we want to choke him, but what we're thinking about, I want to set control, set control, set control. But there's so many things happening between you in the guard and the side control that if you think too much in the end, you forget about what's happening in the process. On the transitions, you know, you don't adjust yourself in the right way. You get too eager, you know. How many times we pass someone's guard, go to the mountain, I'm going to submit, and the guy take you over the mountain. So, oh man, I have to restart everything again. So it's about reverse engineering. Every time that there's something wrong happened with me in sparring, I try to understand, okay, this was the problem. What happened before the problem? And before that, what happened? And before that, what happened? Okay, cool. So if this step didn't happen, the problem will never exist. So I try to understand and cross-reference what's the situation, the scenario that I'm at. When I feel the guy is going to the half guard, I know where is my red light because I understand where I like, where I don't like. And I know where the problems can lead to. So as soon as I feel that the half guard is happening, I'm already positioned in a way that I don't let the guy complete what he started. So therefore, he needs to step back, and therefore the game starts. So pretty much really in a broad way, that's how I used to think. Every time when I go to the academy, I don't only wanted to train and go there and make a huge workout and go back home tired from sparring, full sparring, 10 minutes, every one of the toughest guy. I love tough training, I do. But I've always put myself in situations that I want to improve. Try a little grip, twist, a little angle, understand why it didn't work, repeat in the end of the class. Okay, Roger, you did something when you went in the mount that I really didn't like. What did you do? Why did you do this way? And then he will explain. I go, oh man, that's why. So I get the why, and I go home. Okay, so if this is the why, I can now have an argument because I understand why he's trying to do, and I try to incorporate. I've always learned attacking or defending, and then you know when you have that situation, someone puts you in such bad situation, and you go, my God, that's not good at all. Try to memorize, try to see where you're at, and then try to make someone else feel the same. Because if you felt bad, that means he's working something about it, right? So you explore the way, and then you start copying and paste and understand the why of the technique works. And man, it just flows, and it's beautiful because you keep having those clicks all the time. So, oh man, and then this is like, oh, this mindset can be applied on the same this way and in this way. That's why the inverted triangle came. That's why the Estima law came, because of understanding of the concept. Because a technique is nothing more, nothing less than a specific concept made to work, right? But if you focus on the technique itself only, you are limited to that specific way of doing some concept.
Mm.
But when you understand the concept, then you can make it up. Because in fighting, you gotta adjust and readjust all the time. Even if it looks the same, depending on who you're fighting, you adjust and readjust accordingly because you know why you're doing. But if you just try to copy A, B, and C, you do the A, the B doesn't exist, you're stuck. Once you understand the why, you can make A, B.1, B.2 because I'm losing, and then the C. And that's how my crazy mind works.
Wow, yeah. That kind of taps into my second question because, you're a very cerebral practitioner. You're always coming up with new moves, positions, drills, philosophy, etc. Do you come up with these ideas from a natural curiosity or with the purpose of wanting to push jujitsu further?
I had a few challenges, personal challenges, you know. First, I wanted to be. I remember I fell in love with jiu-jitsu when I was a white belt, and I remember the first 6 months was terrible. I just used to get tapped. I remember going to the academy. There's this guy from Rio de Janeiro, blue belt, mate. He is 60 kilograms, like almost half of my size. The guy used to tap me 6 times a row. I said, "Oh my god, man, how this can happen?" Once he tapped me by both arms, I said, "Dude, that's what's going on," you know. And then I wanted just to be able to survive. And then I learned and I started getting the hang of it, understood the situations, and I wanted to be the best in my academy as a white belt. And then I started competing, of course. And then I remember from Recife, I'm from far away from Rio, which is the mecca of the jiu-jitsu at the time. And there was no black belts in my city. And jiu-jitsu, Recife is like 3 hours by plane away from Rio. And I remember people who used to go and compete in the IBJJF tournaments come back with a third medal, and they come back as a blue belt, third place, and walking like they are the whatever, the buchecha,
Yeah.
And I go, what's this arrogance for, man? What's the point? Just because you did well with something doesn't mean that you're a better person. You should ignore people just because you're good at something. So this was the first challenge. I wanted to be good at something and prove the point that, dude, you don't need to be arrogant to be able. Once you become good at something, you don't need to mistreat anybody. Mm-hmm. So this was one of the things. Then also, I listened to everyone saying, Braulio, it's not point to carry on doing this profession because, man, you're never going to be able to win in the purple belt. What's the point? I said, okay, I'll try my best and see how it goes. And I won. And then, but the brown belt is difficult, Why brown belt? Boom, again, I won. I said, okay, but now black belt is the real deal, First year, boom, I won. And I shut them out. And I've also heard the same process that if you are a very good athlete, you cannot be a good professor. And then I want to prove people wrong. Because hold on a second, I want to be also, I don't want to be just a good, listen, if I'm good in jiu-jitsu, why can't I be good on sharing? Because sharing, it was what made me improvement in jiu-jitsu. Sharing to my students, to my training partners, brainstorming, that little talk after the class. Why did you do that? Why did you do that? That's what made me become better. When people ask me, Braulio, how did you do that? Can you show me? And then I showed them, and I started realizing why I did it. Because some things I did automatically, didn't know. But when I try to explain to someone, I drilling mentally and visioning the technique, and then I became better. And I understood that the more I shared, the better fighter I became. And I had that start in me that, man, I want to not only be a good fighter, but I also want to be a good fighter that can teach. That was my goal. And then when I came to UK as a brown belt, I came here to explore jiu-jitsu, to spread jiu-jitsu to the world, because I know how much jiu-jitsu has made such a big impact to me, a very positive impact, because the philosophy changed my life, And at the time, like 2 years before I come to UK, Brazil was very bad seen as a Brazilian jiu-jitsu practitioner because of there was a lot of gangs using jiu-jitsu for
Mm.
the bad. But then, bro, jiu-jitsu is like a weapon, and then but you can like a knife you can use to be spread butter on the bread, or you can kill someone with a knife. So it's all about the individual what to do. So I'm a good guy, I'm the good side, I'm a goodie. So I want to use jiu-jitsu for the good, and I want to spread jiu-jitsu as a tool, using the jiu-jitsu as a tool to spread the positivity, the good things that came to me that made a huge impact. My kids train jiu-jitsu. So my goal was I wanted to explore, and then as I was getting to the objective that was to be a good professor, but I do seminars worldwide for many years, so I learned, I start to understand what is the need of people, how is the best way to teach a class if many different levels at the same time, how I can break down that the black belt high level can get something and a white belt just starting to get something as well as on the same time. So I start having that objective to improve my way of how to deliver the class, and I take a lot of inspiration from amazing stand-up comedies, because I like the interaction. I like to hold the crowd, and I make them relax. I joke. I bring the crowd with me, and I pick the guy that usually is the bully one of the academy, and I go and make a joke with him. So automatically everyone is already on my side because it's the opportunity to pay back for everything that guy did during the, you know what I mean? Like, and then I
Mhm.
get everyone in a good mood, a good flow, to the point that the guy that used to be bullied, not even bully anymore, because they know if it's someone else, there's always someone else that could, not that I bully him, I'm just making a joke around and then make people more interested. And then this has shown a very good way of deliver the message. And yes, from that point, I start to develop my technique to the more in the scientific way, like laboratory way, like I did like at my university to the black belt. I did my master's, and then I carry on doing different masters on my university of the jiu-jitsu that I chose to, and then to the point that I wanted to become a scientist of the art, and then I dig in, I share a lot, I ask questions, and I got today, 2020. I mean, maybe for 3 years ago, I can tell that I kind of I feel comfortable to say that I know jiu-jitsu. Not all far from it because I'm always learning, but I'm confident to be able to go there and talk about, because I have foundation why I got to that kind of knowledge.
Yeah, yeah. That says a lot about you. It says that you're someone who conquers your fears, and that kind of leads up to my next question as well about overcoming fear, because you have possibly had one of the worst and most debilitating injuries I've personally ever seen in jiu-jitsu. You've also managed to overcome and still win titles after that. So for those that don't know, you suffered a very serious neck injury that could have, cost you your career in 2010. Can you explain how you overcame the fear of getting hurt, of getting hurt again, possibly, and how is it possible that you came back and won all these titles and basically blocked out that fear?
Yeah, this is a tough one because this is very personal. I
Mhm.
think that mentality I have been put into myself the way of how to deal with problems and how to deal with how to prove people wrong. And of course everything has a little I was reassured. I just didn't give up. I was searching three doctors when for who doesn't know, I had an accident. I fell on my head training MMA, and I got tetraplegic. 24 hours out moving. Was the worst thing that ever happened to my life. I had two discs hit the spine, no movement, no pain, nothing. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't. It's unbelievable. It's just like I just felt my life taken away at the moment. It was the worst feeling that I ever felt in my life. The first thing that came to my mind was, oh my God, I won't be able to pick up my kids. That's the very first thing. And the second thing was, man, my fight against Jacare is booked for next year. I won't be able to fight him. So that's my fear. And then I went to the doctors. three different doctors told me that I'll never be able to be a sportsman anymore. And that was really big hit for me because, you see all your life just you're losing grip of your purpose, right? So I start trying to find someone that could say yes, I can do it. So I keep searching. The fifth doctor, told me that he could do it. And so there was a lot of research behind and the trust as well. And I understood the process of the technology. And so you have two discs on my neck that is like also moves a little bit, so take a little bit of pressure of the spine and also the tension on the top and bottom vertebrae. So which is the problem when you have two discs, when it feels both discs and then the other discs get very compromised. So I found this guy, got the trust, and then once I felt the trust that the surgery was a success, right? And then that will be always down to me on how I will deal with it. Do you trust and you stop? Do you trust and you give your best and see where it goes? And then I've always been the guy that I would hate to regress for something that I didn't do. Of course, I have always to focus on the safety first, But I've already, John, many. I remember my first injury. It was a blue belt. I twisted my knee. I couldn't move my knee. It was very soft, and I thought I'll never be able to walk again because I couldn't even lift my leg.
Wow.
And I go, my God, man, I can't even lift my leg today. The injury was yesterday, by the way. I couldn't lift my leg today. How can I lift my leg in someone else? It's over. So, but then physiotherapy, do the right thing. And then I started recognizing myself. I started understanding that, hold on a second, our body is incredible. We can regenerate. You can, if you eat well, if you do your physiotherapy, the right way, do what you're supposed to do, you do get the results. So I started, okay, my knee got better. Then I had surgery on my knee. I got better. I did a surgery on my knee 4 months before the World Championships 2008. And I went to the finals against André Galvão. I couldn't even touch my heel on my butt when I sit. I couldn't touch my butt on my heels. And I lost to him. He choked me out. but I went to the finals of the World Championships without even bending my leg full. So this kind of mentality, I was proving everyone else wrong, because I think you need to understand yourself. You need to learn about yourself. You need to recognize what your limitations are, how good you can recover or not. So my knee, I went back, and they came my shoulder, I came back, and I won, and then my neck happened. I said, man, that was a tough one, but can I? And then when I got the belief that the surgery was a success and I'm safe, I said, you know what? What's the difference than all the other injuries? If I do what I'm supposed to do, I'm going to do my best, and I'm feeling I go with the flow. Is it going? Yes. Is it going? Yes. Okay, carry on. Push the bar to the point, that when I went back, I did a surgery 8 months before the tournament, right? My tournament was against Jacare, the super fight in the ADCC, and I remember that I never had scored one advantage in Jacare. I fought against him 4 times. So the 5th was 8 months after the surgery. So basically, when you do the surgery, it's 4 months without even going to the mats. Wow. So I had 4 months to recover from the surgery and be as good as I could ever be to be able to be the guy that I never scored an advantage. And I went there and did it, but it's because I really wanted it. It's because all I think about was that fight. It was the second thing that came on my mind as soon as I hit my head. It was my kids first, my family. Then, the fight. So I went to the surgery. I feel myself before the surgery already with the idea of documenting the situation, my recovery towards the fight, because I really was committed and I was sleeping. This is not a lie or exaggeration. I went to the surgery thinking about the fight against Jacare, and every single day until the day of the fight, I was thinking about Jacare before and after go to bed. It's incredible. And then I remember when I was fighting him, I'm looking at him and I go, oh my God, this is happening, right? I cannot believe this is happening. Crazy. All those, what I was thinking, is happening right now. Come on, let's go. And I fought well, full blast, 30 minutes, it was a tough match, but I made it. And then this shows that man, if you really have the willpower and you do what it takes with the safety zone around you, you can do achieve anything really. Because if I did, I'm not a superhuman. I'm far from it. I'm not over talented guy. I'm a hard work guy. And then one thing that I've always I had, and my dad always taught me when a kid: if you fall, stand up and get ready again. Just fall again. It's not how many times you fall; it's how many times you stand back up. That matters. And
Mhm.
then, like when I uh, my experience on the IBJJF, for example, during 2 years, I lost my very first fight for 4 competitions. Traveling, sponsor, no, without a sponsor, I have to be family sponsoring. Got that, lose the first fight. Second time, third time, fourth time. On the fifth time, I wanted to go to the Panams, the Miami. Oh, you want a holiday? You don't even want to fight. You want to go in the Panams. Man, I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. When that, I won for the first time at the IBJJF first fight, and then I won the tournament
Mhm.
as a blue belt. And that medal, it was one of the biggest feeling of accomplishment that I have. The memory that I have winning that tournament is magical. You know, it's intense. It's like hopeful. It's proving that you're on the right spot. That's like the window is huge. Like you go like, man, you can do it. You know,
Mhm.
and that was very amazing feeling. And it's not different than a black belt world champion. It's the same because it's you fight people at your level and you do your best to get to that pinnacle that everyone is doing the same, and you did. So achievement wise, your personal achievement, the feeling of achievement is not different at all.
Wow. That's cool. That's really interesting. You know, you're someone who's fully dedicated their life to jujitsu. And although you've won, many titles in the sport, you've often said that you don't train to win titles. You train to become the best you can be. And you said that earlier in this interview. How important is it for you to always strive to become a better version of yourself? And how much has jiu-jitsu taught you to keep that same mindset in anything that you do in life?
Yeah, that's what it is. This shows how much you really care. I've always been very strong-minded to the point that when I want something, I want to give my best, my all. When I put that's my personality. I hate the idea of quitting. Not saying tapping, I'm saying quitting. You know, if someone gets me in a turn, I'll tap. It's on, okay.
Mhm.
But I don't like to give up. You know, because winners never gives up, right?
Mhm.
So that mentality helped me a lot to keep driving. And can you just repeat one more time because I lost a little bit my thought of. Can you just repeat the last part of the?
Yeah, it was just how has jiu-jitsu taught you to keep that same mindset in anything that you do in life?
Yeah. So jiu-jitsu, I can explain, as I spoke before, anything in life through jiu-jitsu. You know, uh, don't cry over the spilled milk. Don't what I mean? Like never give up. All those things you can prove and go through jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu is like try to feel comfortable on uncomfortable situation. The resilience. Respect. The trust. You
Mhm.
know, jiu-jitsu is an amazing art, John, and I have been this falling in love through my journey to the point today when I go and see my classes, the people who is training, the bright eyes, that glowing, everyone is so happy and appreciative for everything, and this is priceless. Jiu-jitsu, you there's not something in jiu-jitsu that is very unique on any other sports. Okay, is the element of trust, because when you're training, someone gets in a choke, right? All we think about is, I got him, he's gonna tap or not. That's all we think, right? He taps, I let it go. I get someone, he taps, I let it go. Someone gets me, I tap, they let it go. But subconsciously, even though when you don't think, the vibe is that guy could kill me, but I thought he let it go. So I trust him. And if I get him in the choke, he taps. If I wanted, I could, but I let it go.
Mhm.
So that we don't think about that because jiu-jitsu for life is a game, right?
Mhm.
But the element of trust is unique on any other martial arts in the world. It's a lot about yourself because in the jiu-jitsu there is no race, there's no religion, there's no rich or poor, there's no ugly. It's you and yourself and the guy and your partner, and that doesn't matter who you are, what you did outside. What I said, when you win a competition, you shouldn't be treating people different because the guy could be a doctor, know much more than you, but just because you won a little championship, you think you're the man. This is not the thing. But when you start to understand those little things, you open yourself for more growth. And that's when I started to fall in love even more, to see these are the benefits that jiu-jitsu came to us. I became a much better version, like the same thing, not only the same mentality that I had to become a better version of myself for jiu-jitsu, to become good in jiu-jitsu and become better and better and better, as good as I could ever be, in this mentality, I try to do the same as my fatherhood, as a partner, as a son, as a brother, as a friend. And that's two things, John. Two things that made the whole difference when I understood. Is the two characteristics that is the best thing for any relationship. Doesn't matter what it is. If it's in work, your mom and dad, your friend, doesn't matter. Appreciation and give back. If you appreciate things and you give back, the other half, the other party appreciates and give back. It's a win-win. You can never lose. It always snowballs towards the positivity, and that's why when I go in their mats, I share with everything, with passion, with everything I know, without holding back. You know what that happens? People go, man, I appreciate. Look how much energy. Look at the passion they has. You know what? They give back, and I appreciate. I said, man, thank you so much that you enjoy. Can give more? And then look, bah, 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 bah. And that was what I noticed. And when I started to understand those little key points that made me who I am in jiu-jitsu, and I adapt and understand that concept and apply in different scenarios of my life, I see the positive results as well. And I see how much positivity I bring with me, and I become successful in the other areas. Listen, I am far from perfection. I have so many other things that I'm learning, that I'm developing as a human being, But I know for sure that if I keep applying the concept that I learned that led to my success in jiu-jitsu, I know that I will be successful. It doesn't matter what I choose to be.
You kind of touched on this with your answer, but I wanted you to elaborate on it a little more. Braulio Estima is always someone who's looking towards the future. I've seen how much you've worked on expanding jiu-jitsu in the UK and how much you've contributed to jiu-jitsu on a global level through your style and your fights, online. How important is it for you to give back to the jiu-jitsu community and grow the art?
Yeah. Look, it's all about the belief that I have. Master Carlos Gracie Sr., okay, Master Carlos Gracie Jr.'s dad, he always believed that if everyone in the world did jiu-jitsu, the world would be a much better place to live.
Mm-hmm.
And I do believe that with every single possibility. I know, okay? Let's take up the situation, unfortunate situation that just happened not long ago. The police and George Floyd, right? If any of those two guys had experienced jiu-jitsu, none of those would happen. It wouldn't exist, that situation. Because first of all, Floyd would recognize what he's at. He would express what's going on, and he would tell, we would know what's going on. He just didn't know. He just felt pressure, and then suddenly, boom, gone, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if the policeman knew about jiu-jitsu, he would know that if you put pressure on the guy's neck with the knee for that long, tell Cyborg, man, Cyborg's main choke. It's from the side control, is a knee on the neck. Only
Right.
one knee. He would know that the guy would be under pressure. That was an amazing fatality. It's incredible. Let's not go into that. But I'm saying it wouldn't exist if one of them did jiu-jitsu. And with the trust that we spoke about, right? The element of trust, the respect, the environment, the positivity that you learn, understanding and speak to someone by who they are, but not for what they have. It's this is incredible, and jiu-jitsu brings that to all of us. And when I look at it today, where the jiu-jitsu is going, it gives me so much pride and happiness. And I'm not doing that for the sake of getting something back, because what I'm doing is I want to just give. And I know the universe makes things happy around, because happiness is very it's all about is inside of you, right? But if people around you are not happy, you kind of you don't feel as comfortable. But when people around you is happy, you are even happier,
Mm-hmm.
right? So adds more. So I everywhere I go, I try to use jiu-jitsu as the tool to spread the positivity, to make a positive impact. And Carlinhos, Master Carlos Gracie Jr., he wants to spread jiu-jitsu, you know, it's because his purpose of life is beyond his life, you know. In the Gracie Barra is the direct link to his dad, which is, the great. So I see that I understood the vision of Carlos Gracie Jr., and I understand and I trust, right? And I see all what the vision is. It is what made me become who I am. And I want to spread that to everyone and make our world a much better place to live in it. Because I know that is my purpose in life. And I use jiu-jitsu as a tool to make a positive impact to the planet. And every community that we reach, I know that we're making big difference on their lives for the positive. And this is my drive. This is my buzz. It's not about making champions in the tournament, but champions in life. And I want my main goal now. One thing Master Carlos Gracie Jr. Told me once, Braulio, like first, we need to understand. You need to, if you want to be successful in something, focus on being successful on that thing. But when you become successful, okay, you got to help someone to become successful around you, right? Look at the layers, right? Remember, sometimes I spend time a lot and trying to help, give, and forget about myself. What this relate to in jiu-jitsu? I want to sweep, I want to pass, but I don't even know how to move myself in the right place. So focus on you first, and make yourself the base, because if you are the person who is going to deliver, you need to be solid. If you don't know what you're talking about, how can you even argue about it? So get strong, then pass it on. Then is the next layer that I am right now. It is now I'm preparing someone to get. They already they successful on their field or in the jiu-jitsu or whatever. Now use that to help someone else. So I'm passing on the same lessons and the vision that Master Carlos Gracie did to me. I'm trying to pass it on. So first layer, become successful. Second layer, help people around you to be successful. Then help those people to help others to become successful. Is inspire them, and then help them to inspire others, and becomes a positivity. And this brings positive around, because I'm not doing that to get myself benefit, but I'm helping for them to become a better version of themselves. Then now when they are a better version of themselves, now you help others to become a better version of themselves, and go and carry on this legacy, this mindset. And then you will be happier, because the universe will conspire for you to become even more happier. And then therefore, when I see the result, I go, man, I'm laughing. I'm like, here we go. That's what we're doing. And we're making a big positive. Jiu-jitsu will change the world. It's changing already, and I can see, I can feel, and we are on the right path. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. If everyone knew jiu-jitsu, the world would be a much better place, and I'm really happy that you're on the forefront.
I'm
So
glad.
yeah, with that, let's go ahead and move on to our breakdown section. I want to tap into your mind of one of your matches that I picked up, and the reason why I chose this match is because it was there's so many different transitions and so many different positions, and you're on bottom at first, then you end up on top, and then you get the back. So there's so many different things that you could definitely share with us, the details of. It's your semifinal match, World Championship 2009, against the very tough Alexandro Ciccone. But yeah, so if you want to go ahead and let us know what happens here. So like 20 seconds into the fight, you jump flying triangle right away. So let's
Dude,
go
I
into
forgot about this fight. I saw a little clips, but I remember that Secon is a tough guy, man. Yeah, he was low downs, and I was just gonna talk as I see what I remember. I knew he wasn't going to pull guard, so I wasn't worried. So I jumped in it. Oh my god, yeah. Oh man, I missed that one.
Yeah, he got his knee in.
He got the knee in,
Yeah.
but see, like I'm holding his elbow, so I'm giving a try there, and then there we go. Yes, can you stop there, John, for a little bit?
Yes.
Look at that. A lot of people find it very difficult on that scenario because can you see the second? He's trying to pass my guard, right? Now, if I tried to attack him with the triangle, he would have passed my guard.
Right.
All I'm focusing here is like I'm not letting his right elbow slide away from my thigh, right thigh, or my groin or whatever. If the elbow slides, he passes the guard. So I'm holding that, and my right leg is stopping the head to come out on the other hand. So my leg is actually automatically on purpose open and wrapping around his neck with the right leg. I'm not trying triangle. If I tried to go for the triangle over there, he would have passed. So let's go.
All right. Yeah, and I notice you keep inverting to make sure that he stays square with you instead of cutting an angle.
So I managed to recover. Already by this time, I think I realized that the triangle is not gonna be the right spot. So I went to the Della Riva, and I think I tried to lift him up.
Yes.
It was too high there.
This is one of your. I've seen you do this sweep several times in several matches when I was going through them. Do you always go collar and sleeve here for the Della Riva?
Collar sleeve, and what I do, I bring my knee to my chest, so my hips is under his now. Look, see, that's when I throw.
There it is.
So if you go back there, John, just so we can just break down a little bit
yes,
what I meant.
Of course.
Okay. Now stop that. Look at that. My objective is to throw him on over top, a loop over my head, and up on the top, right? Like I pick him up and throw him. But look, if I try to do this right now, it's not the right time to do because my hips are too far from his. Imagine a big metal sphere, right? And a small sphere. If you put one side by side, the small cannot make much effect on the big one. But if I put the small sphere, metal sphere on the bottom, put the big sphere on top of it, wherever little movement that the little small sphere does affects direct on the big one because it's located exactly underneath of the center of the gravity. So before I lift him up, not many people see I am pulling him to the point that my hips become underneath of his hips. And only then that I lift my legs. If I try to lift right now, he wouldn't even move because he's a strong and heavy guy, So check it out. Look, I'm going to lift him up to the point that my hips goes under his hips. Look, not yet. Now, look, now I lift. Look, 1, 2, 3, boom. There that's the catch. And then I put him down, already put in the position there to put him on his back without letting go the grip because he would need the right hand to stand up. See, he's trying to put the right hand on the floor, but he cannot. If you put the right elbow on the floor, he would speak up, but that's the idea.
Right.
And then he went to the single, right? And I tried to get out and up on the bottom.
Yeah, that analogy about the spheres was really cool. Yeah, you have to be he had to be under it. Yeah, you have to be under him, right?
Yes, need to be under, otherwise you cannot lift him. So I broke the grip over here.
Right. Actually, let me, because I think you guys break here and then you pull guard, but there's something that you do right here. You're holding the belt the entire time, and you get a good angle of it right around here.
Yeah, there we go. So by the time that I pull guard, okay, I already knew that I had the belt. So if you go back go back just a little bit, John, because you see I changed the belt before I grabbed it. I think with my left before. Look, see, go back. A little bit more, so people can see. See, so my left hand, see, stop. So my right hand, and then I get my left hand on the call on the bell, right? And then now I wanted to sit up. When I sit up, I push him back. He starts sliding myself away.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm forcing him to do the underhook pass with the arms. So he's already there. See, he has both under, right? So I start putting myself in a way that I can slide away and sit up so I can swap hands. I want to swap hands. Hold on, I want to swap hands. Swap with my right hand palming up.
There it
Like
is.
right palm up. Now stop. Stop that. Stop that. So look. Yeah, that. Here we go. When I put the right hand, you stop. Right? Like the rodeo grip. Yeah. So I'm pulling, changing, so that stop. At this point right now, I am 100% sure that he cannot lift his head, right? And he cannot pass my guard because my elbow is pushing his head down all the time.
Mm.
And that grip with the palm up is like you hanging yourself in a bar, man. You're not gonna let it go. It's too strong, right? So my palm up, I secure his head. For him to stand up, he has to put his head first. He needs to move his head first upwards before I even try to stand up. Otherwise, only his hips go up, so I'm good. So now I have a very, this is a position I do all the time. It's one of my favorite triangle from that position. What I do, I keep him down, and all I want is have this sleeve and pummel my left foot under his arm, sorry. And then he cannot posture up. If he cannot posture up, I will get the triangle, because remember, the escape of triangle is to lift the head up. So I'm already blocking his counter even before I even apply the triangle. And it's been on my mind through the whole process. Since when I had the grip, I already knew I want to swap my right hand grip. So I keep his head down. I will attack the triangle, and I will keep his head down so he won't be able to escape. But I don't know what was the result, but I think he escaped that.
Now, right here, I noticed that you have his leg hooked. Is it when he came up on when he brought up to one knee? Did you purposely try to hook the leg?
Yes, on purpose stop to, because that by kicking the leg up makes me sitting up. So I have a lever under his left knee with my right leg.
Okay, so let's continue.
And if you see, I had another fight that you guys put against Rodrigo Pinheiro. I did exactly the same position.
Yes, you did. Yeah, it's that pummeling.
But I think it didn't work this one, did it?
See,
I think he cannot posture up.
He's
He
aware.
cannot posture up. Like the head is down. Like the head down. The grip is good. Good. And then, like, see, I'm not letting go the grip. He's defending well the triangle. So I said, you know what? I'm going to go for the sweep. Look, single leg. Boom. Here we go. Put him down.
Right there, I wanted to touch on. So this is really cool. It looks like you were about to finish the sweep, and just something happened right away where you knew that you could take the back. And what was it that made you see that? Like you just
when he turtled, because when he started, he was trying to stand up. See, when he put his right leg up, it's the sign that he want to go up, right? So I had a good grip on the belt with my right hand. So that means that I'm attached to him. So what I'll do, I will hang myself, drag myself towards his back. And if he stands up, I go with him. So I put a hook in, that's why. See, he starts to stand up, I put the same hook side. Look, it's open.
Yeah. And you even trapped his arm with that too.
Yeah. And that's when I go, okay, cool. So now I have a good position from the top. And then now let's start digging the collars to get the choke.
Now, what do you do here to make sure that he doesn't get his back to the mat?
Yes, because then I'll keep always his back. This I start making him think about if he turns to me, I'll get the katagatame, right? And if he turns away, I'll take his back. So he's in a very bad position now, because I could give katagatame if he tries to turn his back, or if he turns away, I'll take the back. So I start adapting with my left hand, because the katagatame is one of my favorite positions. I was threatening him with the katagatame all the time there. If you stop that, John, so I can just say one little thing, okay, guys. When you see two top fighters fighting, whatever you see as result, I can assure you that wasn't the first move that got him there, unless it was a snapped triangle or a fly number, right? Because fighting is like an argument, okay? In wherever you try, whatever you want, your opponent wants the opposite. So if I want to go left and I try to go left, the guy is going to say left, no. If I want to go right, And I tried right, the guy's like, right, no. So I need to do this. If I want to left, I need to go right first. I want to go right, say right, no, oh, thank you, left. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So I am in a deep, I managed to take his back because he was afraid of the katagatame. Because my hand is already deep, my neck is under his armpits, my shoulder kind of thing is under his arms. And if I dig my right leg, my right hand through the neck, I would go to the katagatame straight away. But it would only work if he put his back on the ground. So he's like, oh man, if I put my back on the ground, I'll tap on the katagatame. So you know what? I cannot turn my back to the ground. So what he does, he keep turning to the opposite side. See, imagine that my left, I'm pushing him to the left for the katagatame. He said, no, I want to right. But when he turns right, he gives me the back. So I put him in the corner.
Awesome. Okay, so let's continue.
See, look, katagatame,
And you're just
katagatame.
putting pressure with your shoulder up his armpit, right?
Yes. And now, like a line, and then that's when he turtles. And I said, okay, so I put the other hook,
Mm.
right? And now he got it to the point that he got stuck now because I have such a good position now. Now he's focused on the foot to take it off, but his hand has been stuck there. Let me see what happened here. Oh, I got, see, stop that.
Yeah,
Look,
it's like Ezekiel, right?
Ezekiel. This is the proof. I haven't seen this fight in a long time, right? I mean, I just watched some of the final transition you guys put in the IBJJF,
Uh-huh.
but I didn't see before that since the fight. But it shows the Katagatan was such a threat to him that my arm was so deep that I just need to put the sleeve to go for the
Yes.
Ezekiel with the arm in. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? If the reason that I managed to do the Ezekiel with the arm, and that means my arm was so deep to the katagatame that I managed to grab my sleeve. If I didn't attack the katagatame, my arm wouldn't be as deep enough to get the sleeve. You know what I mean? I would go hand to hand.
Yeah.
That's why it makes sense now why the Ezekiel was the result.
It allowed him to expose his neck a little bit easier for you to get behind.
Yeah, it's too deep now. It's too deep. Can you see my right hand how it's already in the grip? That it's too deep now. It's over now. There's not much that we can do. It's just a matter
Mhm.
of time.
Yeah.
Look, can you see now one thing that I love about jiu-jitsu? When you what goes down, especially now generations. I know I was one of the old generation that starts, being more influential and to the positive ways and stuff. But he see he only had to tap once on the mat and I let
Yeah.
him go to pressure. See that's what I like is the beauty because it's not about to hurt no one. It's about putting the guy in the situation that he's gonna say. It's up to him if you want to tap or not. He tap, his game is over. We as soon as he tap, I let it go, and that's what I like about jiu-jitsu. That beauty of trust and respect.
Yeah, exactly. And with that, we will conclude this interview. What a way to end it. Great breakdown. I really liked that sweep. It was really cool. And then, all your details were spot on. I just want to thank you, Professor, for taking this time and giving us so much insight. It was a really inspiring interview, and I can take away a lot from this. So I appreciate it. But before we go, is there anyone you want to give a shout out to, or let them know what's going on?
Man, just before I do the shout out, I'll say, man, thanks so much for the question, John. It's been great. Thank you very much, IBJJF, to invite me for being here. I feel very in a very special place right now, and it's so good to see me fighting again. That was 2009. That was my prime. Good times. I can say to my kids back in the day. Like I'd like to give a shout out for the IBJJF. Really, I think you guys been doing so well lately on this pandemic, bringing a lot of stories and matches and bringing back the people who added to the story, to the history of jiu-jitsu, and IBJJF being there ever since its beginning of the tournaments, and you guys bringing people who are there, remembering through generations, so the new generation can see what happened, why they know, and what they do today. It leads from that little humble beginnings. you know.
Mhm.
And this is incredible what you guys doing. Really, really hats off. I'd like to say thank you for my sponsors. You know, I'd like to say thank you for Noco. It helps me to keep on the go. You know, Jiu-Jitsu Nutrition. You know, my team, Gracie Barra. You know, and you know, my everyone from my team. You know, Felipe Pena just did an amazing performance. You know, the weekend. Congratulations! And then, yes, really. I'm just so happy to be here. Like I say, thank you for all my fans and people who follows and understand my philosophy. And thank you for being here, really.
Awesome. Hey, thank you so much again, Professor. It's always been a pleasure.
Thank you very much, John. See you next time.